Welcome to this week's episode of The Providers, brought to you by SmokingIt.com. This week, I have to pry a story out of my friend that I have to hear from a secondary source happened to him. Just, minor life stuff, but Steve didn't want to tell me about it until now. So that's cool. And then actually we had such a good question come in from our email account at the Providers podcast at gmail.com that we actually tackle that question early on, and it leads us into talking about the end of the Michigan deer season and some late season tactics and strategies. So this is a fun episode. We got some funny stuff that you're going to laugh at in this one, and it's going to be a good time.
Like leaving boot prints in the mud. As that crisp morning air stands up your neck of hair and your adrenaline starts to flood. You're a provider, you understand the things the woods can do. How you can lose yourself in the things that you love, but you can find yourself in them too. Yeah, we're the hard-hunting, freezer-failing providers. Yeah, we're the hard-hunting, freezer-failing providers.
Who doesn't love making a delicious meal for their family? Smoking It Smokers allow you to do just that. Simply set the settings and walk away, only to come back hours later to have a delicious meal waiting for you. Smoking It Smokers, when only the best will do.
All right, so it's been a couple weeks since we recorded the last episode, so I think the first thing that I need to jump into is I don't hear from you, but I hear from Matt down in Ohio that you got in some car accident or something crazy.
Oh my gosh, I never told you that?
No. And I'm talking to Matt. I'm like, yeah, Steve asked me if I could help him do some stuff on his Jeep or whatever. And Matt's like, oh yeah, after he gets it fixed from his accident. And I'm like, accident? What accident are you talking about?
It's been so busy, I haven't even, oh my god.
So I'm like, oh, it's cool. Matt knows. It's fine. I don't need to know about this stuff. Whatever. So, all right. So what went down?
So, I was on my way to work in a busy intersection, and I'm at the light. My light's green. Everybody stopped. What's embarrassing about the whole situation is I'm a UPS truck driver, and I can't get in an accident. It's just not what we do. I'll lose my job. So,
if you get in an accident with your personal car?
No.
Oh, with the truck.
If I'm in my brown truck
okay.
and I get in an accident, it's not going to be good.
Gotcha.
So,
okay.
So, I mean, you can fight to get your job back, all that stuff, but it's complicated. So, anyways, I'm at this intersection, and we talk about intersections all the time. Clear left, right, left, look before you go, all that stuff. Traffic is stopped. So I'm like, I had cleared it, I'm good. The right turn lane, so just so you know where I'm at Aurelius and Cedar.
Yeah.
And I go to cross Cedar, and I looked, so we always look left one more time, because that's where your danger's coming from. This guy was in the right turn lane, like he was going to turn onto Aurelius, and just decided to keep going straight, and just went straight through, and if I hadn't looked again, he would have hit me right on the driver's side door and just smashed into me, but I hit the brakes, and then it was like slow motion, where this guy there was nothing I could do. I knew I was just going to hit. He hit right on the driver's side front bumper of the Jeep. It kind of spun me around. And then he backs up, and his bumper's kind of falling off already.
What kind of vehicle do you have?
Like a, what was that, a Forester, like a Subaru?
Oh, okay.
Type, like,
yeah.
One of the station wagon.
At least it was about the same size as you.
So it wasn't a huge car or anything. But then he pulls into parking lot there, And immediately, like, I get out, and I'm concerned about him, you know. So we're both in the parking lot, and he gets out. I'm like, hey, are you okay? And he goes, yeah, I think I'm good. Like, kind of older guy. And he walks over, looks at my Jeep, and is just like, oh, are you good? You're good, huh? And I'm like, what? Like, what is he even talking about? And he's like, yeah, I'm gonna take off because I don't have any insurance. I was like, what? So he had reached for his wallet, and he's like, do you want any information of mine? And I'm like, yeah, that'd be great.
Right.
So I took a picture of his driver's license, and then I looked at him, and I'm like, you know, they're gonna talk to you. They're gonna come find you. Yeah. And I'm like, I have to report this. Like, there's damage. And he's, yeah, I get it. I'm leaving. What? So I jump on, 911, whatever. Told them we're everybody's fine. And then I go, but the other guy doesn't have insurance and he's leaving. They're like, can you stop him? I'm like, I don't think so.
No, that's not my job.
I don't think I can do that. No. So as I'm talking, he's in the parking lot. He hasn't left yet because he's in the process of, he can't move because of his bumpers dragging and stuff. So he's ripping the bumper off of his front of his car, ripping the plastic off of, out from under the fender that was rubbing on the tire, throws it all in his back seat. I'm reading off his license plate. So then, I talk to the dispatcher or whatever. 2 cops pull in. They're like, which way do you go? I'm like, went down Keller. So they zipped away. They're like, hang tight. So he zipped away and took off after him. And saw a third car come, cop car come through. And then like 15, 20 minutes goes by. Another dispatcher calls me and he's like, hey, hang tight. They got him, but
Oh, that's good. They got him, though.
So I'm like, okay. So I'm hanging out, and then he comes back and he gives me, takes my information, and I'm standing there in all my UPS uniform. So,
But in your personal vehicle.
But in my personal vehicle.
Yeah.
And so it was almost like asking me what happened was an afterthought because he was like, all right.
Right.
And he could see where the parts were on the ground, and he could see everything that happened. So explaining it was like 2 seconds. And then we looked at my Jeep real quick together, and then he handed me his card, and I go, was he drinking by chance? And he said that the guy pulled a maneuver. He said, technically we couldn't get him on that. And I was like, okay. And he goes, yeah, he drove home, got home and said he was distraught about the accident and had a couple drinks. So.
Jeez, oh Pete.
Yeah. So it was 8 o'clock in the morning, and I get hit by a drunk.
Yeah, drunk at 8 o'clock in the morning. God, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So frustrating too, because.
So I was able to drive the Jeep to work. Had a hole in my tire that I discovered once I got to work, like it was a slow leak or whatever, but my steering wheel was totally like 90 degrees sideways. And
because of your tire being screw up your axle or something, or
so I don't know exactly
what it was.
If it's like tie rod or whatever it is, but it drove smooth, but the bumpers caved in, so my wheel will rub on the bumper.
Jeez, oh Pete.
Yeah.
That's, yeah. Drunk and 8 o'clock in the morning. So you got kids driving to school, you got kids walking to school, like that's just pisses you off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so you're getting the Jeep fixed, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. It's going to be a while.
Well, that's crazy. I'm glad you're okay.
Yeah,
yeah, drunk drivers, man, that drives me nuts as far as, especially that early in the morning. Obviously, you got bigger issues in your world than whatever. But yeah, if you're drinking, don't drive, please. But so we were talking about show topics for today, and actually we got a really good submission on the providers podcast at gmail.com email address, and I was like, instead of throwing this at the end of the show, I'm going to read this now, and then I think it will lead to probably some good discussion for the next few minutes here, and some thoughts that I had on it too, and we'll see what you have to throw into it, since I know you just bought a muzzleloader too. So here's a question that got thrown at us. 2 years in a row now, I've successfully taken a mature buck in the late season, on the last day of Michigan rifle and the other in mid muzzleloader season. I feel like I'm beginning to understand the nuances of the mysterious quote-unquote second rut, but thought maybe you guys would have some applicable experience and or strategies for late season horn hunting. Which I think is a cool topic, because I think a lot of people think about, killing a deer first couple weeks of the season, especially if they're after a target buck, and then the rut, obviously everybody gets excited about killing a buck, but I do agree with this about late season can be a really good time to kill something with antlers. But what are your thoughts? Have you killed something late season?
I don't think I have ever killed anything late season, which is crazy.
Why is that, do you think? Because you don't hunt as much, maybe?
Yeah, I think I go through burnout.
Yeah.
So by late season, I'm either burned out or my wife's burned out. So
right.
It's like,
I do know my time comes, yeah. You know what I mean? Especially after we get back from our Ohio hunt.
It just gets hard for me.
And our gun season, I feel like I'm kind of the same way, where things get backed off quite a bit. I do find that I love a good snow hunt at the end of every year. You'll get that first good snowfall and find a food source. So
I'd say years ago, my excuse for that was I've been tagged out already.
Yeah.
I was a lot less picky back then, so it was just,
right. And it is cool, because the late season hunts, you get into, all of a sudden there's this, you'll be sitting in a open field or something that hasn't been chisel plowed, and all of a sudden you got 20, 30 deer piling in on you, that last hour. But I think my experience, and I can't say that I did. I killed one of my deer on the wall. It was late December, and it was definitely that quote unquote second rut thing, which I'll talk about here in a second. But I think number one, late season, obviously your afternoons are your best bet. The deer tend to want food late in the day. I've also noticed, thinking about this question, looking at trail cameras over past years and stuff, it seems like that late December period, December 20th or so, all of a sudden it looks like, I call it the deer coming home. So the deer that I saw all through the summertime, especially in like my backyard and stuff, where it's easy to tell, see deer more frequently, I lose those deer. Obviously, when velvet comes off, they all go into their breeding areas and where they want to move to for the rut and all that. But then it seems like late December every year, if they haven't been killed, all of a sudden they're back in my food plot again. Yeah. I hadn't thought about that before, but I call it kind of coming home, and then they'll probably be hanging out. And they tend to, I feel like watching them that way, and the joy of being able to watch them out of the house is you get to see them more frequently. They bed close enough I can see them. They come eat in the food plot where I can see them. Like they're trying to regain energy. I'm sure the does are exhausted from being pregnant and that type of stuff. So it just seems like they kind of come back and lay low. So I would say, number one, if you have a target buck during the summer that you see and he disappears, that those last couple of weeks here in Michigan between, end of December into the beginning of January is probably your best time to kill him with a bow. If he hasn't been shot during gun season. But then the other thing is, the whole second rut thing. So I used to think, I don't know if you did or not. I don't know if you think.
I try not to.
I used to think that the second rut was solely does that didn't get bred in November. So if they didn't get bred in November, the second rut was their chance to get bred. And that is true, but the more that I've researched this, is actually the second rut is a lot of the fawns that were born late in the spring. So I'm going to throw some numbers at you, and I got to read them off a screen because I'm not a genius.
So your first thought was that there were does that just weren't getting bred.
Like a mature doe, yep, that doesn't get bred in, let's say, November during the rut.
She's like a 2 or 3 on the 10 scale.
Yeah, she's got a gap in her front teeth.
She's looking.
She probably walks with a limp.
The bucks were just like, no.
Yeah, she got a late.
So then you thought late season they were like, well,
yeah, fine.
It's 2 o'clock in the morning.
I was gonna say it's not an 11 p.m. doe. It's a 2 a.m. doe. Yeah, that's a good way to put this.
Right.
So yeah. So it's the stragglers, we'll call them. But there is some of that. But I think, especially in Michigan, where the deer population is huge, what the heck are the odds that a doe is going to slip through the rut without a buck?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Right?
Getting to her, so I think there is some of that happens. That's scientifically proven. There is some of that happens, but I think the big thing that happens is it's the fawns that are coming into estrus. And I always wondered to myself, why are the fawns coming in late, or how old does a fawn even have to be able to breed, I guess. So I did some research on it, and this is kind of crazy. So the gestation period, which is the amount of time that the fawn is inside mom's stomach, is 201 days from the time that mom gets pregnant. Okay? So if mom gets bred on November 10th, the fawn's not born until May 30th. That'd be 201 days. Okay, so then a fawn has to reach a weight of over 80 pounds before her body will go into estrus and want to be bred. So if you have a fawn, let's say, that's born in mid-June, because we all see those late fawns, right? Then their body isn't capable of going into estrus during November.
That's crazy.
I know. Like I said, I'm reading this because I'm not a scientific person, but it is very interesting. But then what'll happen is by December now they've hit that 80 pounds and their body can kick in. Then they go into estrus, which gets the bucks all riled back up again because now we got stinky stank running through the woods. And that's exactly what happened. And at the time I didn't understand it because this was quite a few years ago, but I shot this deer. I had a doe. I remember a doe and 2 small fawns coming through the woods. I'm watching them, and all of a sudden I can hear grunting coming, and it's right on their tail. And I was like, oh, this is crazy. Well, he comes through. He doesn't bat an eye at that mature doe. He's after one of these little fawns, and I was like, that is so crazy. But he was chasing her all over the place, and it was like December 20th, something like that, snow on the ground. Super cool hunt. But he does not score the best, but I think he's probably my most mature buck that I've shot. And he was definitely in that rut phase where he was tearing through the woods. He could care less about, he was throwing caution to the wind, just doing whatever he had to do to try to get some last minute tail. And I got lucky enough to put an arrow in him. But now it kind of tells me that we should pay attention maybe to the fawns a little more in the spring. Because another thing that happened to me, and I talked about it on a podcast this year. Remember I told you I had a doe in estrus like October 10th?
Yeah.
And I had all those bucks following her?
That's what I was thinking, like, what's the opposite?
Right. And then, so that leads me to believe, obviously, she probably got pregnant earlier than the rest of the does, which means she's going to throw off fawns earlier than normal, which means next year I probably got pretty good odds on that property of some super early
Right.
rutting stuff. So I think it's worth taking note on that. If you've seen that and it's happened, then it's probably going to continue to happen. And that actually this year was my second year seeing that. I didn't believe it last year, but this year was the second year that I've seen that on that property. So now I know next year, hey, beginning of October, that could be a pretty sweet spot to be.
Well, couldn't that also start a cycle there where, like, you're assuming that it was a mature doe that came into estrus early.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that did happen. Right?
Well, I don't know if she came in early. I think when they're born, though, they keep their cycle for their whole life.
Oh, okay. Because I was going to say, what if, I guess she came in early, then she had her fawn early, and fawn hit that.
Will now hit early.
Yeah, because
it'll be of,
right.
Yeah, so.
And then it
I don't know.
keep going.
It could. I don't know. Honestly, I have not looked that far into it, but I do know that back-to-back years I've had super early rutting activity on that property. So what's kicking that off? So yeah. I think my takeaway on this, as far as trying to kill a deer in the late season, though, is find the does and fawns, right? Because more than likely, if something is going to be in estrus and wanting to be bred, it's probably going to be a fawn. So you hit that late season where they're starting to group back up together. You know, it's not uncommon to see 10, 15, 20 deer together out in a field. I would find those locations and see if you can get a mature buck coming out, because they also want to eat. You got poo-tang and you got food.
So you're basically a pedophile hunter.
Yeah, at that point. Yeah, at that point.
And you're like, hey,
I'm looking for the youngins.
80 pounds, boy. That's 80 pounds.
And I'm just here to protect the youngins. Jeez, oh, Pete. Yeah, so those would be my strategies for late season hunting, is look for the pedophiles. See if they're on Epstein's list. I don't know.
That's exactly to go on.
So this, and it also brought me into a couple more things about this, as far as trying to track these does and fawns and all that, is pay attention to your trail cameras, because I use cell cams, which is nice because it automatically sends it to a program on my phone that I can go through and filter, show me every buck between November 1st and November 10th, whatever. But if you have regular trail cameras still with SD cards, it's getting to that time of the season. Most people are probably going out to pull them because season's over. Don't just erase those cards. Take a quick look through them and maybe make a journal and note when you're seeing good activity. You know, we found things with bucks over 2 or 3 years where we can mark down what date they were there. We can find out if it was AM or PM. We can see what the wind direction was. We can see what the barometer even was, if you want to, and the temperature. And I do a lot of that through Wonderground. If you guys want to, it's a free thing online. You just go to Wonderground, you plug in your place and your date, and it'll give you all the weather information. So if you got a buck who's, you know, was consistent for a couple days, maybe it's worth taking a look at that and throw it down in a journal and save the picture. So next year you can look, and you'd probably be surprised how things line up a little bit. But I think it used to be I grabbed trail cameras and you do the quick flip through.
Right.
Do. Oh, buck. Sweet, look at him. Do. You know what I mean? Like, you didn't pay any attention to what was really going on. You were just like, oh, buck was there. That's cool.
Your trail cameras are in sweet spots.
Not my one on
I'm like,
state land.
Squirrel, raccoon.
My cameras?
Squirrel, buck.
You're so full of it.
Go. You're every time. I must have a squirrel problem.
Right. Yeah, don't we all? But yeah, as you're grabbing cameras here at the end of the season, you know,
Yeah, that's a good point.
There's nothing wrong with writing some stuff down so you at least remember it, or I'll just pull off random pictures of bucks and put them in a folder and save them on my computer. So the next year when I see a good one, I can go, wait a minute, did I see him last year? And see if I find him. If I do, cool. If I don't, I can't say that it's led to any more success for me, but it does help you kind of paint a picture and put it all together. So
you are way better at that than I am. Like,
you just go out and kill stuff.
You're like,
yeah, tagged out, don't care.
You're like, oh, we saw that big buck again, and wouldn't you know, I looked back, and last year it was the same 3 days that he came through, and I'm like, oh, there's probably something to that. And then I'm the guy that's just like, I know this is a good area, I'm just going to sit in it.
Yeah,
good area, good time frame.
This is what Steve's thought process is when I say stuff like that. In the back of his mind, he's like, yeah, there probably was a good buck that walked through there last year, and he didn't walk through this year because I killed him. He's like, you just keep making your little notes and taking your journal and writing down what that big buck does every year, but I'm just going to kill him and call the story over and go find another one. We don't all get that luxury, Steven. It's a good point, though, because I am super analytical. You are not. Mm-hmm. And you kill way more stuff than I do.
I don't know about that.
You kill way more stuff than I do.
You've had some good quality bucks.
Yeah, but I say on a consistent basis, you kill more than I do. So I think there's something to be said about that, too. Like, you can't rely on technology to kill something. Like, I would say, do I have a knowledge base? Yeah, but you have the knack of, you have the woodsmanship portion of it that you find your spots, minimal scouting, whatever. You know where you want to be to go kill something. So I think there's a lot to be said about that, too, because I would much rather kill shit than take pictures of it. But on the flip side, I do enjoy the analytical side of it, too, to try to learn the process. But I can tell you that learning the process does not kill me any more deer than what somebody who's a good hunter kills. So
that's what's awesome about hunting, though, is like, that's what I tried to say about us in our friend group and what we do is if you sit back and look at it, there's all sorts of personalities that come out with how you want to go about doing this. Mm-hmm. There's anyone from Ron's tactic of, I'm just going out.
Yep.
Not much thought process to it all. Just
I'm sitting in my stand that's already been there.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
Or sometimes we're at a sweet spot and he's like, give me the closest to the cabin and I'll be good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and he just wants to go have fun and enjoy it, and that's great. And then the other extreme is like you and Matt both get into the strategy, but you love that. Like that's part
of the enjoyment. Yeah.
Right. My hunt from last year that I talked about on the last episode was one of the last episodes, was, it was more strategy, like what you've done, but it was like building it and then just saying, okay, this is my area. You know what I mean? But
Matt also said to stop talking shit about his tree stands.
I didn't say it was bad, per se.
You just said it was in the wrong spot. Matt's like, did he forget the fact that I killed a good one out of there a couple of years before?
I even gave credit and said the shot came from that tree's direction.
Matt's
probably just out of range. If I was gonna be honest.
Matt's like getting on the podcast talking smack about my stands, and then thinks he's gonna come haunt the property. But it's true though, like.
And then everybody talks about the grandpa or uncle or dad or whatever that puts on a flannel, walks out into the woods,
smokes a cigarette,
smokes a huge buck almost every year. It's like there's so many avenues to go down. Like, it's crazy. You can put a crap ton of effort in, or you can put a little bit of effort in. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you're successful either way. But.
And I think with all of the information now that's available online and what you see on TikTok and everything else, I mean, you can find information all over the place. You can almost get overloaded. And I think some of it is you have to pick what works for you and do it, because I am never going to go into a tree stand and smoke a cigarette with the idea that it's going to bring a deer into me, right? Like, we preach scent free and we think scent free is the way to go, right? And then, like you just said, you've got Uncle Billy who's got on his clothes that have been hanging in his bathroom for 3 weeks, getting sprayed with his wife's perfume every morning, and then he walks out, smokes a cigarette, and a monster buck comes walking past his tree stand. Right. Like, you think that guy gives a shit about being scent free? He's like, you guys are idiots. Right. And some of it is you just got to do what's right for you. I don't know that there's obviously not a right or wrong answer, because we've seen people from every realm do this and be successful at it. Right. But you still got to, I think, when it comes down to it, it's the woodsmanship. You have to be in the right place.
Yeah, and you have to, I don't know, you have to try to stack the odds in your favor no matter what you're trying to do.
And you have to instinctively be in the right place. You are instinctively in the right place. You know what the deer want to do. I want to research it out and figure out why the deer has to be there. You don't care about the why the deer has to be there.
You want to argue with me about what tree to be in. That's all you want to do.
Whatever. I did want to add something, though. I wanted to add something about that from the last podcast, because we were talking about this with, we had that question come in about how to not get busted in a tree if you're hunting with a longbow, right? He was talking about deer coming in close. And there was one thing that I wanted to add to that I didn't, and it frustrated me. So I'm going to say it now. We talk about stacking the odds in our favor, right? Like being in the right place where the deer wants to move, whatever. You talked a little bit about if there's a lane, if there's two trails and one trail's coming past you and one trail's out 40 yards, we'll actually block that other trail if we can, right? This one little tidbit of knowledge, though. Anytime I go up, and I feel like you're the same way, but most people don't think of this. Anytime I trim something, so if I trim a branch up in a tree, or if I cut a tree down to open a shooting lane, I don't ever leave that stuff. I don't let it just drop to the ground. Turn it into something you use with a purpose, right? So if I'm going to cut a tree down, I'm going to use that tree to try to guide a deer some direction. I'm going to try to funnel it towards me. I'm going to use it to block a trail. I'm going to do something. Same thing if I'm up in the tree and I'm trimming branches. I'm not just letting those branches fall to the ground. I'm trying to interweave them into other branches that are down below me or something like that, because you're right, cover's huge. Like,
yeah, and Matt opened my eyes up years ago. He zip ties. Cut that branch down and zip tie it somewhere else where it's giving you more cover. You know, like why not add to your background or, whatever. Like, yeah, you're cutting this lane, but you can still you're losing cover, but you can gain it in other ways.
And I think that's a good point too, where you don't need to necessarily cover in front of yourself, especially if you're bow hunting, right? You got to have places to shoot. You don't need to cover in front of yourself as much as we have found it's important to have back cover. Right. Because if you take your silhouette and look at it up in the trees when all the leaves are down and all you see is clear blue sky behind you, and then you've got a 220-pound hunter trying to draw their bow, you get a horrible silhouette. So if you had stuff behind you, that's almost more important, because your camo then works and helps you blend in. You don't need a ton of stuff blocking shooting lanes and that type of thing, but it is good to make sure you got some back cover, and we've done a lot more of that when we look for trees now. Not just making sure we're in the right place, but making sure we've got some good back cover behind us. And it does help. When we started going down to Ohio, Matt and Jay had artificial Christmas trees on almost every tree stand. Remember that?
Yeah.
And they'd find them on the side of the road, people throwing away a Christmas tree at the end of the season. Some of them had light bulbs on them still, like the little pre-lit bulbs and stuff. But they would take that stuff and zip tie it all the way up their ladder stands. Like almost every stand that they had some kind of artificial something on it, but
I had never thought of that.
I hadn't either. But it breaks up straight lines. Like in the woods, straight lines are not natural.
Right.
So if you can break up the straight line of your ladder stand or break up the edge of your tree stand or whatever, I don't know. I think there's something to it. So yeah. Deer season's almost over. Deer season is over in Michigan today. This is the last day. Kill a doe, right? 11th?
I don't know.
Well, outside of the couple counties that are doing extra stuff. But yeah, it's
been ridiculous how they keep extending it out. But yeah.
So we got rabbits coming up. I would love to get some ice fishing in, but it'll go from 20 degrees here to being, the other day it was almost 60.
Weather kills me. Like, there was a short window where it was cold enough, everybody's ice fishing. Of course, I'm working my butt off.
Yeah, I didn't get out at all for that.
And then I'm like, all right, things are calming down. I'm going to be able to go out. And then it reached almost 50. So it's like, it's frustrating.
Yeah, it was Erica's birthday the other day, and I think it was actually like 55 in the middle of the night. And she was like, this is by far the warmest birthday that she can remember. Of course, she's only 22, if you ask her.
She's just reached 80 pounds, but age of consent.
I really want to say she's finally old enough to breed, but in my head, all I can picture is Matt's wife listening to this going, damn it, Greg. Matt and Kendra keep us on the straight and narrow. So anytime I say something inappropriate, for some reason, I've got Kendra's face in my head yelling at me. So anyways, yeah, it's been warm. And yeah, so that's kind of thrown ice fishing off, because that's kind of my winter thing. If I'm not rabbit hunting with you, I like to get out and ice fish every now and then. But and we'll discuss maybe the next episode. We'll throw out some ideas as far as some cool things that we do with ice fishing to do. But yeah, so it's a little bit of a shorter episode this week, but we wanted to hit on the last of deer season, maybe, unless we get another couple questions about it. But we'll start moving into some of our winter stuff here in Michigan. And yeah, got anything else to throw at me?
I don't think so.
All right, so thank you guys for tuning in. Appreciate Smoking It Smokers for sponsoring us. Make sure you guys check them out at smokingit.com. You can always watch us on YouTube. Check us out on X, Instagram, all that fun stuff too. One thing I am trying to do is on the past couple episodes now, I found a way to link old videos. So as we talk about some old stuff, you can actually click on the screen and check out some of our old stuff from the providers and pass-through productions. So you get to kind of watch some of the hunts that we're talking about with you guys. So that'll be something I'm going to keep trying to do. And yeah, we will catch you guys next week.
Deuce.